player on a recent podcast. Shumpert says he can do everything on the court, and when it comes to the clutch LeBron, he has, quote, folded a few times, but he puts himself in enough positions to correct that later on. Shump also says LeBron was the best overall player he's ever played with. Shannon, how do you like this breakdown of LeBron and his talents?
I don't agree. I think the thing is that because Kevin Durant can shoot the three, got the mid-range, I think because he mainly shoots jumpers, LeBron doesn't get the credit for being the scorer that he is. But they're neck and neck.
Scorer or shooter?
The way KD plays is probably more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, as opposed to like Giannis. Nobody gives Giannis credit, but Giannis is just averaging 30 because what? A lot of his dunks and layups is not the jumpers, say like a DeMar DeRozan in the mid-range game, or the three like KD. KD's 6'11", 7 foot tall, can shoot the three, got a mid-range. He can put on the floor, finish at the rim, although he doesn't do that very often. He's very, very content to just, shoot that jumper. LeBron, when you look at it, Skip, one guy averages 27.1, the other guy 27.2. They both shoot about 50% from the floor.
Him and KD.
He and KD. Mm-hmm. Skip, they're neck and neck. It's just that LeBron's game isn't as pleasing to the eye as Kevin Durant shooting jumpers. But they're averaging basically the same thing. But when it comes to playmaking, comes to rebounding, it's not even close. Defensively, when LeBron was in his prime, KD couldn't see him. We know that. LeBron made first team all defense, I think, 5 times. I think he was on the second team once. He should have been Defensive Player of the Year. How in the heck does LeBron James lose Defensive Player of the Year to a guy that didn't make first team all defense? Marc Gasol was second team, but won Defensive Player of the Year. You see, even Skip Bayless can't explain it.
Nope.
They had it in for my guy.
Although I must interject on Kevin Durant's behalf. 2 years at Golden State, he made the case he deserved consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. So don't tell me he can't see LeBron on defense because he's at least in the stratosphere.
No. Now LeBron can't sit in the chair and Skip, man, going to year 20. But in that prime, you talk about from like 2008 to 2014, KD couldn't see that LeBron sat in the chair and took D-rolls. Remember Tony Parker? Remember Tony Parker was doing all that dealing and dallying, and he said, I'm finna shut that off.
Yep.
Like a faucet, turned it off.
And there's a Shump quote about that. He says, you got an issue if LeBron really wants to guard you. And in his heyday, in his prime, in the peak of his prime, I will buy that. Because when he decided, I'm going to lock you down, he could lock down point guards or centers. I will agree. But we're talking about 6'9", 260.
Yes, Skip. But when Shump is talking about clutch numbers and KD being better, the numbers don't back it up. The last 10 seconds, game time or go-ahead shots. In the playoffs, LeBron James is 39%. Kevin Durant is 3 of 16, 19%. Before the shot that he hit against Milwaukee last year, he hadn't made one since 2013. In that time frame, LeBron James has 5 buzzer beaters. So this notion...
Okay, I don't think he's playing KD off LeBron. I think he's talking about LeBron in and of himself. And the line was that he says, if you look at the clutch moments, he's folded a few times, but then he comes right back. But he says he puts himself in enough positions to correct that later on.
But Skip, Kevin Durant is 3 of 16. He's 19%.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing him off KD. He's just talking about LeBron in and of himself. So he said if you want to say he's folded a few times in the clutch, he said, be my guest. But he's come back and put himself in the position.
But the question is, has he folded more than Kevin Durant in the clutch? And the question is no.
Well, I don't think that's the question we're asking here, because I don't think that's the topic he's dealing with.
But he's using saying Kevin Durant is a better offensive player. The numbers just doesn't say that. That's not what the numbers say. If we're doing this thing numbers-wise, it doesn't say that.
Okay. So I'm going to pick this to pieces from my point of view. So I respect him on Shumpert because he did play with LeBron for it's sort of parts of 5 seasons.
Yes.
And he played very briefly with Kevin in Brooklyn, very briefly. Mm-hmm. But as he breaks this down, he says, you can say LeBron can't shoot. You can go ahead and do that. But then you look at the actual numbers and your argument is not so supported. Well, I'm sorry, it is supported if you look at the actual numbers. And I don't know what numbers Shump has, but I know what I have. LeBron is a career 35% three-point shooter. It's just below average. I'm being nice.
But see, but you did skip. So is only three-point shots allowed?
No.
LeBron James shot 62% on two-point shots this year, the highest ever by someone that averaged 30 points in a game. Is that good?
These things called free throws. You get to go to the line by yourself and stand there 15 feet away, and it's for free. You can make 1 point and 2 points if you go swish, swish, or make. He's 73% career. It's horrible.
Okay.
By his superstar standards, that's horrible. That's an Achilles heel or feel that he just doesn't have from the free throw line. So let's just look at his shooting numbers this past year that you say was the greatest 19th year season ever, right? Let's look at what LeBron did, because in three-point attempts, he took a career high by far 8 a game. 8 a game. That ranked 15th in the NBA. 15th. But he shot only 36%, right on cue, from 3. And that ranked 93rd out of 145. Well, you're killing your team because you're shooting so many threes and you're not making nearly enough of those. So that's a lot of empty, wasted possessions. Then let's do free throws this year. He's 6 a game in year 19. 6 a game, it's still pretty good. It's 15th in the NBA. And he actually shot pretty well from free throw line, 76%. He went up a tick from his career average. It ranked 86th in the league out of 112. So you're getting there a lot, and you're not cashing nearly enough. You're hurting your team, and you're hurting your team. So the shooting numbers, to me, scream below. I'm being nice about this. Below average, but you say he's the GOAT. Well, I'm sorry, shooting is a big part of the game. If you choose to shoot threes, if he just said, if he went Jimmy Butler and just said, I don't shoot threes, that's fine. Then I'll give you a pass.
But let me ask you this. KD shoots better from the 3, better from the free throw line. Shouldn't he be averaging about 5 to 6 more points since he's such a better, so much better of shooting?
Efficient, right?
Skip, they both average.
You say he's the most efficient superstar shooter you've ever seen.
But LeBron, their percentage average is basically the same. So how much more efficient is he?
Okay. So let's go back to the biggest picture here. Let's talk about clutch situations, late and close situations. Since LeBron came into the league, he has missed in late and close situations 104 shots. That's 27 more than Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook or Dwayne Wade.
Skip, you do realize the man has been in the league 4 more years than Kevin Durant.
But that's a lot of shots missed in late and close situations.
Skip, how many?
104?
Skip, he's the best player on the team, as is Kevin Durant. So you automatically assume that's going to be a high total. And I don't care how great you are. If you combine Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, and you combine them, they're going to miss more late-game shots than they make. That's just the averages, Skip.
Okay, since LeBron came into this league, late and close free throws attempted, LeBron has missed 54. I've always told you he's the worst late-game superstar free throw shooter in the history of this league. He's missed 54 total, and that's second only to Westbrook, who's missed 57 in late and close situations.
But what I'm having a hard time struggling with is that guys that have flaws, like Jordan and the 3, you say, well, he didn't shoot the 3, but it was he did shoot it. Because I remember him shrugging against Portland because he made 6.5.
Yeah, because they dared him, and he just said, okay, I'll make it.
Okay, then. So nobody else dared him. So why didn't he shoot better than that for a career?
Was it prioritized? It was not.
Hold on, Skip. Just because you don't prioritize something don't mean you can't be good at it.
In the closeout game at Utah, I'd have to look this up, but I don't remember him taking, maybe he took a couple of threes, but it just didn't matter. He scored 45 points because he didn't need to shoot threes. He was making all kinds of 2s.
But here, the game has changed now. Bigs are shooting threes. Bigs never shot threes, but at the end of the half or the end of the quarter. Now the game has evolved. LeBron James has been in the era where the three-point wasn't that reliant upon to now where it is. And he's been able to adapt his game to fit accordingly.
Okay, but one last stat. Late and close situations, free throw line. LeBron, since the end of the lead, has missed 17 of those. And that's 9 more than the next guy on the list, who happens to be his former teammate, J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
So he's no good at the line.
No, but I need you to tell me, since KD has been in the league, since KD's been in the league and LeBron has been in the league, how many shots has he made to that situation? You keep talking about free throws. I noticed you ain't mentioned anything about threes. I noticed you ain't mentioned anything about twos. And you talk about he's a much better shooter than LeBron, but you only went to free throws, where in the first argument, you went to three-pointer, two-pointers, and free throws. Now at the end, you only mentioned free throws. So where's the threes and the twos in the clutch situation that I need to see? Pull that over there. Let me see.
Are you talking about KD's?
Yes.
I don't have KD's. I only have LeBron's. Because I think you're misreading this, because I don't think he's playing him off KD. I just think he's talking. He's defending a guy he loves, LeBron James. He's defending.
Anytime you offer a comparison, you obviously are playing them off each other. It's automatic.
Yeah, but he just said, he briefly mentioned Kevin. He said, the most skilled offensive player I've had to deal with, he said, cool, it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Okay, period, end of story. But the best overall, all-around player.
But that's not even debate. I mean, nobody's ever said that Kevin Durant. But I'm just trying to figure out why at every age, LeBron James is the youngest to ever do it. From 1,000 to 37,000 or 36,000, however many points LeBron James, I think he has 37. He's the youngest to do it. Is Kevin Durant not in the league?
Yeah, okay. So I got it.
Scoring means you got to shoot the ball, right? Which means you got